What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, here.
I have everything.
I just
set up to
noticed.
Start out.
You're good? Good.
Mark, are you ready?
Yeah, ask them quickly.
We'll call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any additions, deletions to the agenda?
I think you have a couple there. that we-
I have a couple, so under the setting the public hearing for the Charter Spectrum franchise agreement. We're also going to set a public hearing on the tentative village budget for the years 26-27. And we're going to set the public hearing for the tax cap override. And then on 8 is approve the amendment to resolution 2025-0428 regarding Bridge New York grant involving our Franklin Street Bridge that we got a grant to repair. Place. And number 9, the MOU with the town of Manlius regarding the study of a fire district possibility. So our meeting minutes from March 9th.
The motion to accept.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Another discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstract number 18 dated today.
A motion to approve.
Sure, you want to just give us some amounts? Yep. No, you're good.
You were a second.
If you approve it, and I'll just stick in a number. Check 18 totaled $162,355.46. This is the one that included our health insurance payments. That's why it's in one.
Been reviewed and audited.
So move.
It has been.
Moved
Second.
and seconded.
Do you have any question?
I ran to sign Karen, but yeah.
I think we addressed them and.
Yeah.
There were key things.
Okay, all in favor?
Thank you.
Department, so fire department.
I just have a bunch of people. Volunteer applications. I have 3. Lucy Nightingale. She is an EMS worker. Moved here from Massachusetts and is going to SU.
So. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
We're waiting her background and everything,
Okay.
so I'm not sure if we,
Yeah, I'm not sure it was completed because I don't know if she's gonna give me the forms.
Based on her back.
uh, the other one is Michael Silman. He wants EMS and fire.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
He's volunteer.
The meeting's the
They're all
18th, right? Or when's the next?
Orientation's Saturday,
What day?
this Saturday,
That's your
28th, I think.
28th, that's what, I knew there was an 8th.
And then I have next year's dorm student, Brody Kaufman. He's from Clarence, New York, Harris Hill Fire Department. And he's coming for orientation for next year.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
I have a full-time EMS worker. We talked about him, I think, last week in my budget hearing, Matt Dervich. He's taking Austin Mall's spot, who we sent to the academy for firefighter. He'll start at the rate of 2365, which is 52,220.
So move.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Alright.
Then the last is a part-time hire. Gavin Liston. Used to be a member with us, went to the city full-time. He's coming back to be a part-time at the part-time rate. He's a part-time firefighter EMT.
So move.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Alright.
That's everything.
Okay, anything for the chief?
Any. Oh, we think I have it for now.
DPW, has Tyler here?
I just have our annual tree and shrub care and vegetation management, of course, brought up the mic from Bartlett Tree. They do this yearly through the Village Hall, Veterans Park, Beard Park, or municipal lot, and Blackstone Plaza area. Soil treatments, growth regulatory treatments. And brick walkway applications before Memorial Day parade and then later on in the summer, sometime in August.
A motion for the mayor to sign the agreements with Bartlett Trees for these different areas. That this is done annually. It's nothing that's nothing new is added to the particular.
The actual brick treatments are two parts.
Yeah.
So the first one obviously falls in this budget.
You have it in your budget though.
Yeah.
Budget.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Motion
I'll move to the second.
moved and seconded. All in favor?
Right.
And Brian additive.
Are you gonna list those all on one voucher?
Nope, they're all separate vouchers.
You're gonna do all that?
Each area is a separate voucher.
All right, I'll write the dates down.
Brine additive, magic -0, we're below 1,000 gallons in our tank. We use a 95 to 5% ratio per 100 gallons, using 5 gallons. So it's not a big deal, but just in case the weather goes south at any point, I just want to make sure we have some in the tank for us. So I'm just trying to purchase 2,500 gallons, $1.62 a gallon. About $50.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
The last thing is a training opportunity we have, been annual, we've gone to it just about every year. So through the Urban and Community Forest Program in DC, it's electrical hazard awareness training workshop. So tree trimming around any kind of electrical hazard, poles, secondary lines, cable lines, anything like that. It's pretty informative. I've gone to it probably 4 or 5 times. You're certified at the end of the year for electrical hazard training, and I'm just looking for 4 TBW members and 1 including me to go at $95 per employee. It's an all-day thing in Rochester, May.
Seven.
May
7th.
7th.
Does that include your meals and everything?
Yep.
Includes that.
Lunch. Yep.
I move to approve that.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
That's it for me. Any questions?
Share with everyone, about the senior center campus,
Yep.
and treatment there needed.
We've never actually had the senior center campus on the tree and shrub care management list. I'm gonna bring Bartlett up there Wednesday. I'm meeting with him around 11 o'clock. He's gonna walk the campus. We have a lot of new plantings around the building and some older ones throughout the property that he's gonna take a look at, see if we can do anything with. Also get a quote on the brick treatment for the community garden. We can look at that. And then the wood line along the grass between Redfield Properties and our lawn that we mow has got a lot of Virginia creeper and poison ivy in it. I'm gonna get a quote on that also, just kind of see what it'd be to clear up some of that creeper, because it's really invasive. It'll kill a lot of those trees over time. That's Wednesday. I'll have a quote by next meeting.
Thank you.
Anything else for the DPW? Okay. Bert?
No,
You left yourself
Okay,
off.
I didn't see that in there.
I didn't have anything, so I left it off. Thank you.
Okay.
I got nervous, but.
All right. Next we have a public hearing regarding community development grant 5-year plan. So it's asked of us every year to submit a 5-year plan to community development for projects that we might want to consider doing. They revolve around the funding through community development for low income, senior or handicap accessibility types of issues and situations. So in our village, there are a couple areas that we can utilize things for. And so basically we have a list of the next 5 years. 2026 would be Canal Landing Park redesign, replace existing park trails to ensure accessibility. 27 Coulter Park Phase 1, improve handicap accessibility to the park. 2028 Coulter Park Phase 2, installation of inclusive playground equipment. 2029 Grand Block Bird Sanctuary Park improves handicap accessibility, and 2030 village sidewalks located within the eligible area of our village. So these are projects that are that we have come up with to consider applying for grants for, but we have not applied for these grants yet, nor is it set in stone that we will be applying for these or in these particular years. So the current community development grant that we have underway right now is to replace the boiler at the Fayetteville Senior Center. So the Fayetteville Senior Center, or Center for Active Senior Adults or Active Adults, is a place that we have designated as a shelter. We have a generator there, so it's a heating and cooling area in extreme conditions. So, and it also serves our senior population, so that qualifies for this type of a grant. So with that, I'd open the public hearing to take any comments from the public.
Question, village sidewalks located within eligible area of village map. So what is that? Where is that, the eligible area?
It is mostly on the south side of the village over here, Genesee Street going that way.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
only a
along
limited area.
Genesee-
There's a small area, not on Genesee Street,
No.
but over in that neighborhood behind the churches and these buildings across the
In
street.
the older part of the village south of Genesee Street.
Thank
Over where I live in Rust area.
Yeah.
you.
Welcome.
I have one letter that I've written here that kind of short, and it relates to this, this issue and also the change in zoning for the 547 East Genesee Street. So I wrote a letter that kind of covers both of them because I see a relation.
Pass out the letter. You had copies?
I-
You had several copies.
I've got some more copies, sure.
I don't. So,
I haven't got it memorized, I got to keep one myself, but otherwise.
he only gave me a couple items. I think he was planning to pass them out.
Oh.
Give one to the news back here somewhere. Yep, I'll read it into the record, and whether you talk about it in this part of it or the next part, I'm not sure. I said, in reference to two items on the agenda for village board meeting, item 5, public hearing, community development grant 5-year plan, and item 6, letter for zone change request. This letter relates to both. I have been aware for years of the thoughts and actions of how to deal with 547 East Genesee Street and the properties near it, especially Coulter Park. I have walked my dog on the entire site and have not met anyone else who's done that. The evidence of an active long-term hazardous waste site is hard to hide. A little research shows that hazardous waste properties often have no market value and often have negative market value. The village will be taking on a permanent risk when taking title of the northern part of 547 East Genesee Street. When looking to apply for funds for Coulter Park, it would be responsible for the board to plan on installing a fence with hazard warning signs to prevent all citizens from walking into a waste site. In closing, it would be good to review the timeline of events about the Love Canal in Niagara Falls. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything to say about it? Maybe a motion to close the vote.
Close the open hearing.
Okay.
On favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, any board discussion or make a motion to accept this 5-year plan?
I move to accept this, the community development grant 5-year plan.
Second.
First and second. Any other discussion at this point, although there will be under further discussion if we were to make applications for this, as I mentioned. All in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is a letter for zone change request, and I believe some of the participants are here.
Yes, just what, Sharon got to advance me into the panels. And Navarella Consulting. With me today, the development interest, Matt Lester and Anthony Gizzi. Hold on, put my phone in my pocket. We represent 547 East Genesee Street. The village planning board has seen us, the village ZBA has seen us with regards to a couple applications to re-energize this project, in which the planning board gave site plan approval in December of 2022. Right way. So again, the project team, the owner group is still FUBU Environmental Services. The development group, as I introduced, Anthony Gizzi and Matt Lester. Our site project attorney is Vashon King, Kathleen Bennett, the tenant attorney, Nadine Bell, who presented to the zoning board of appeals with regards to sign application. I'm Matt Navarella, and then we also have traffic consultant, project architect. Just as a refresher, the approved site plan, I got this blown up so we all can see it, is for about a 57,000 square foot grocery store with associated parking as a redevelopment project of the former Accurate Dye O'Brien and Gear building itself. Oops, I'm going to this, button's going crazy. Yeah. But that is the approved development project. Nothing has changed from December of 2022. We have gone before the planning board for two pieces. One was specifically for signs, because in 2022, the building signage was not a part of the approval. And so as recently as 2 weeks ago, we received zoning board of appeals approval of some sign packages with regards to this building. As well, we have before the planning board, go the right way, a subdivision application for the northern portion of this site, of which is consistent with the zone boundary from the west to the east. We call this now the north portion. That particular zone boundary is coincident with the zoning of the northern piece of R1. And then there is a little triangle piece as well that is zoned industrial, as our site is zoned industrial. So before the trustees today, we are asking for a zone change from the R1 portion to zone O, and a portion of that little triangle piece I explained from industrial to zone O. This particular zone change is, and again, off of the comprehensive plan, highlighting the property in purple, as we can see that subject site. But as well, in the northern portion, there is what has been identified in the 2023 comprehensive plan as an area to be slated for future open space. That's the same area we are identifying as the request here for a O-zone before the village trustees. And if you look at that comprehensive plan, again, just to be to affirm that the that green area that is highlighted is identified as open space and parkland essentially. And then in the comprehensive plan, it defines and it explains what the intent was of that comprehensive plan for that open space, essentially preservation of valuable area for openness. And as well, I think during the comprehensive plan process that the entire group will review that, recognize the fact that we don't want residential in that property itself. So the
Developed residential. Is that what you mean?
yes,
Oh, okay,
something that would conform to an R1 zone.
okay.
So
And when you say we,
well, the whoever, well, frankly, this board endorsed that
Yeah.
comprehensive plan in
Right.
2023. So that would be you guys, not me. So just to be clear, and this is in the white is a strict definition of what the O-zone defines. So this district represents lands so located as to be subject to flooding conditions or other special ecological considerations, and shall have no structures or of permanent nature erected thereon. So in the black, what we've identified, we this time is us as the applicant, special ecological considerations for the zone change area
is the remaining hazardous waste cleanup associated with the accurate dye created soil and groundwater contamination. The groundwater pump and treatment has been ongoing for approximately 20 years, or actually greater than 20 years, and will continue until such time cleanup standards are met and DEC is satisfied with the cleanup. That is an ongoing process. It's been going on for, again, since the hazardous waste was identified. Mr. Kinsella came to me earlier and said, what's going on? It's like, it's been literally on a biannual basis. Reporting has occurred with the DEC. They've identified a small pocket of area that still hasn't met that standard. It is in that northern portion, but they are making continued progress with that. So what I wanted to further discuss is where we are with that brownfield cleanup program, what DEC has as far as recent input and discussions that have occurred. And certainly Matt and Anthony can chime in as we go here. But first and foremost, the northern portion of the site is, as I explained, zoned residential R1 with designation single-family homes as the primary allowed use by Fayetteville Code. Secondly, DEC has indicated that the cleanup standard recognizes future potential of a site. And if a site is zoned residential, then the residential cleanup standard must be met. DEC has indicated that it does not want to see single-family residential on this subject site in that northern area. However, with the R1 zoning designation in place, the residential cleanup standard must be met because it's still zoned in that form as an R1. To achieve the residential cleanup standard, DEC may require, or very certainly will require, that the R1 portion of the site be capped with an impervious layer. And by capped, they mean 2 foot of a clay soil. And as we know, this portion, that northern portion, is heavily forested. And to cap it would require cutting and stumping all the trees before bringing in the clay soil, and then a topsoil layer, and then reseed it. Essentially, it'll look like an abandoned or a capped landfill area. DEC has told us in those conversations that it doesn't want to see this happen. It's not an environmentally appropriate solution to what we have, but since it's zoned R1, we have to meet that residential standard, and that is their standard to cap and close this site. As such, DEC supports the zone change. They actually recommended it in recent conversations. Like, how can we don't want to cut all those trees. It's not smart. It's not smart environmentally, engineering wise, or anything else. The development entity, and Matt will talk about it, doesn't have any interest in further development and is saying, let's just change the zone to an O zone.
And keep title.
And keep
I think
cut.
that was we
Part-
would
part,
still
right.
retain ownership. It's expensive. Trees is it Dan? What's your name?
Time.
We can attest, it's expensive. It'll save us money. Like that's my self-serving interest here. I was hopeful the board would find this a win-win. I'll go either direction you want.
So
It doesn't matter.
So as such, the with an O zone, then the cleanup standard is less stringent than the residential zone. And the existing forested area can remain.
What is the cleanup standard for O district?
Restricted residential.
No.
No, the O district.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Essentially, you don't have to cap it, but you still have to continue the groundwater treatment that has been occurring. And the reason that the residential is that higher level is because people will be living there and potentially impacting the ground and soil in a more aggressive manner than if it's open space. And based on my understanding, and we do have our own environmentalist on staff, and some may be aware of a local guy, Jim Blasting. He's a leader, a geologist here in the area. Jim couldn't be here tonight because he's snowbirds in Florida now, but he is readily get up. Did you get home?
Yeah, I spoke with him about 20 minutes ago
Okay.
to ask that specific question. What's gonna be, do you mind if I
Yeah, go ahead.
speak? Do I have to name everyone else? It's been a while. Good to see everybody. Everyone's doing well. We're all still here. It's great. So the difference between a residential restriction for the DEC, this is coming from Jim Blasting, and I hope to, if there is a public opportunity, I'll have him meet that meeting in case there's questions from the public, so everyone can engage in a back and forth. So there's a comfort level in either direction we go. Again, doesn't matter to me. We'll happily stick with the residential standard. We're happily to go to the O zone resident, what he calls restricted residential, which is what the DEC is telling him. That would be what the cleanup requirement would follow, the restricted residential guidelines. Candidly, I don't know exactly what that means. He assured me we would not have to remove the trees, stump the trees, cut the trees down. He did say there would need to be cover seed. I could get a side-by-side comparison of exactly what will be the cleanup. I can assure you, based on our brownfield cleanup program, it will have to meet the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation requirement to be clean. So that's not up to me, it's not to Matt, it's Jim and DEC. We've had extensive communication with them. They feel it would be probably best served to go that route in our remedial action work plan. Saves me money, again, cost of trees isn't inexpensive. Bringing 2 foot of cover is what it is, it's soil, not a big deal, I'll go either way. I thought this would be met with, thank you so much. Developers typically don't show up and say, I wanna give away my development rights to 15 acres of a 32 acre project. We don't necessarily need it. Our project was designed for the commercial portion of this 32 acres. We would keep title. It's not a gift to the village. Sorry, probably don't want it anyway. So we'll hang on to it. We'll maintain the brownfield program. We're the applicant. There's significant penalties if you do not follow the guidelines of the BCP. Plus, I get huge tax benefits. It's a benefit for me to stay in that program and complete it. The only way I get my tax benefits is if I complete it, get a certificate of completion, which means they have to sign a final engineering report, which is me as a developer fulfilling my cleanup requirements. It's the only way I get the monetized value and the benefits of this project. I'm not trying to escape. I'm not trying to hand off a hot potato. I'm not trying to run away. I live in Rochester. My in-laws live in the village. They told me, please don't mention their name. So I'm not going anywhere. This is simply an opportunity to potentially keep some, shielding from the neighbors in the neighborhood and maintain the mature forest. We'll certainly keep the trees. I prefer to keep the trees. Plus, everyone wants to know what's in it for you, developer, all about greed and money. I don't have to pay to cut down the trees, which is a benefit for me. And I think mutually a benefit for the community. Take it away, Matt.
So again, no, and thanks, Matt. That's, really where we wanted to be is to be totally transparent to the board. Because I know as a local guy myself, is like, what are you doing and what's happening? And I know, different even members of this board over the last 3 years have approached me, said, hey, what's happening with the site? Obviously, Ted's fully aware of the court case that got cleaned up in about November of this year. Since that time, these guys have re-engaged the tenant. We had a little pause with regards to some of this environmental stuff and the remediation work plan, just because it was like, but it's been ongoing. It just takes time to get through that process. But here we are pushing towards the finish line. And part of that was a strategic session that we had about for the turn of the year and said, okay, how can we get all these pieces put together? And as I mentioned, we thought it made some sense to dual purpose and subdivide that northern portion. That we thought that would also help this zone change process. But in the meantime, with conversations with the planning board, we decided to make this application at this point in time to the trustees, knowing that there's time lag with regards to getting a zone change process. And quite frankly, these guys are on a time crunch to make all these pieces now come together, now that here we are with that tenant and looking to advance this project.
And the reason why we're here today asking for a zoning change is because we need to finish our remedial action work plan and submit it to the DEC for completion and approval, so we can start. And they need to know from us, what are you doing? Is it gonna be residential or is it, and then they have to finalize their RAP, they call it a RAP. I've learned so much about environment in this deal. I
There's
never wanted.
more acronyms than the.
And we've been approached by numerous regional and statewide developers. You know, as you know, in Syracuse, I have a lot of other holdings in Syracuse that you don't know that, but the Micron is coming. Huge housing push. Everyone wants housing. We've been approached by several developers from a residential standpoint. Is there an opportunity to do housing here? And I said, no, it's not the right site for it. It's the wrong site. You know, if anything, maybe this would be a nice carrot. Again, we could save a few bucks, not taking the trees down and putting in, you know, that level of cost. But at the same time, you know, I think the village, I feel like we owe it to the village to offer some type of win from a very contentious project over the last 7 years. So this is in that spirit, you know, no more, no less than just that. I know it's been a long road with the village. I'm excited we're at an opportunity to do something. I appreciate, you know, that we haven't ever said this, but I appreciate all the stress and the challenges the village has gone through. I know this isn't a arguably welcomed project, but I hope that as we have done many other projects in the past that have been met in the beginning with some concern and you know, opposition, at the end of the day, it's turned out to be arguably a benefit, and I'm kind of glad we went through that tough road. It's always a tough road in a situation like this. So the least we could do, in my opinion, and Matt said, you could put a lot of residential units here. I said, I don't want to. You know, the project doesn't need it. We're good. We could use a buffer. I think the neighbors, I know some of the neighbors, they walk their dogs. Probably not as much as you do, so, but they said, I walked through that. Why would you ever want to do that? And I thought, we really don't. But I want to make sure that it's conveyed properly. There's no self-interest here, other than saving a few bucks on the tree removal. You know, I'm happy to do the residential cleanup, happy to leave it residential. I'll leave it up to the board and the community to decide, but we do need to, the reason why we're here now is because I need to finish this wrap and move forward, one way or the other. So that's really the spirit of why we're here. Right.
So again, what I'd like to say, through that subdivision process, we went through 239M review with the county as well. And one of their comments was that the applicant should seek his own change and get rid of the R1 zone. So, and again, you can look at that graphic that's up on the board now. It's a substantial area, and we talk about 15 acres, and we look at our neighbors to the west, to the neighbors to the east, and neighbors to the north. That becomes all open space. And yes, it is under cleanup, but it's not the Love Canal. I did 20 years ago, I did significant research as well about the Love Canal, and the munitions dump is not what Ackerdie did here on this site. So I think we're okay. So we'll leave it at that. Appreciate the time that we can present this, and we'll let the board move forward and set whatever appropriate meetings are. Thank you very much.
Question.
No, I don't have any questions. I just have a comment. Are we into comments? Questions and comments? Or just questions?
Yeah, no, you go ahead. You're good.
I'm assuming that you guys are aware that we are currently updating our zoning regulations. We have been working on this for a year. We are on track, on schedule, and on budget, and are looking at presenting a fully updated draft code to the community, I would say in April. And having a public meeting maybe towards the end of April. So being as close as we are to taking full consideration of that, I feel like we need to fold this in with that process. We would expect that process, well, I should say, our schedule is to have that process completed by July. So I don't know anything more than that. I mean, that's our prediction. We've stayed on schedule so far.
We have a deadline to submit our wrap by the 27th
Of,
this month. So
well,
we're asking for an extension.
Yeah.
Then we have project.
Actually, you have an extension from DEC to April 27th.
We're asking for an extension.
And you got it.
Okay, great.
So one of the things is that this sense of a time crunch,
No, there's no time crunch.
excuse me, please don't interrupt me.
Oh, I'm
It
sorry.
really throws
You
me off.
interrupted me first.
So this, I'm sorry, I still didn't hear you. Did you want to say that again?
No, you have the floor.
I lost my train of thought.
time crunch.
The time crunch. You went into the brownfield cleanup program 16 years ago. So that the fact that there is a time crunch, and in their words, you have had unsatisfactory performance in that program and are a month away from being kicked out of the brownfield cleanup program.
Who's you?
So,
But yes,
excuse
Who's you?
you,
No, we're not. The owner.
the applicant was FUBU, we are now
Yeah.
co-applicant.
okay, so you're representing FUBU.
No,
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 Matt, are you representing FUBU?
no.
I'm representing the developer, but FUBU is also the owner of the property, so they have assigned applications, but. If you say who my contract is with, it's with Matt Lester and Anthony Gibson.
So this is part of the problem
Representing
of,
property ownership group.
so you are representing.
Yeah, they're the ones who signed off that we have the ability to make application.
So I don't think that changes my point. That you can, in the letter of February 20th, DEC said, they continue to consider the progress of the remedial program for the site or lack thereof to be unsatisfactory, non-conforming to the approved schedule, and the delay to be in violation of the requirements of the agreement. It will be terminated if the documents are not provided by the deadlines. So there has been nothing stopping you, especially during the two years in which the proposal was in the court, from doing your remedial action plan. So when you say that there's this urgency that you have to get the paper in on time, it's like, we don't have that urgency. Like Jane explained, we turned down another developer, not just a few weeks ago, with the same, are you listening? With the same,
I am, but
with the same argument that we are in the middle and have been for a while of doing a zone change. So this is not a time for us to consider a zone change on your property because you have a deadline that has been going on and getting pushed for a long, long time.
not to interrupt you, Casey, but I don't think you're grasping the reason why we're here. We're not here for me. We're here for you. We're here for the village. We're here for the residents. If you'd like me to pause and not submit this application, we'll rescind it and we'll submit the RAP. And the RAP will require a residential cleanup on that land. And we just outlined very clearly what that cleanup process will be. I'm just here to say that is the opportunity we're trying to afford the village, the residents. We're happy to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate your perspective. I have some questions for you. I know nothing about the RAP. So my questions come from that point of view. We, as a board, have not had a chance to talk about this possibility. It's the first time it's brought to us. Let's suspend for a minute the fact that we are in the middle of, not even in the middle, we're beyond the middle, nearing the end of our zoning regulation update. We still have not had an opportunity to consider this request. Yet you have a RAP you have to get to. How final does our decision have to be in your RAP? Can your RAP reflect that you're in the process of seeking this zone change and that the board is seriously considering it? And we can give you a schedule for that consideration. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with giving you a final decision tonight because, simply because, right? And I understand your perspective that you think it's better to be an open land zoned district than a residential zoned district. I'm not gonna say I understand that perspective, right? I just haven't had literally a moment to consider. And that's what I'm asking you to give us.
Absolutely.
So can your RAP do that? Can you go through with your RAP?
Right now, it's been drafted and submitted. to the Department of Environmental Conservation with a proposed O zone.
Great, so leave it as is.
So we, until that goes into effect, we can't advance the approval of that RAP. So in other words, it's not that zoning. So the DEC is telling us you don't have that zone. It's zoned R1. When we look at the zoning code and what the designation of the property is, it's R1.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I understand that.
Been done.
If you're saying that DEC is gonna throw everything out the window on April 28th because
No,
we have,
an extension,
to April
April
27th.
20, April 27th.
right, so if you don't hear from us by April 27th, then all's gonna move in one direction. Is that what you're telling us
We
tonight?
have to work with the DEC.
I understand that. I'm not asking you not to do that. I am trying to understand how much time we have.
I'd have to ask the DEC. I think if this were to move forward, and we could certainly, communicate in any capacity you'd like to, and we could inform you with our communication with the DEC and, what the RAP looks like and why the DEC is encouraging us to take this position. And then the level of difference between a residential zone cleanup versus a restricted residential.
I understand all that. If you're able to go back to DEC and say to them that you heard from us tonight, that we are undertaking a full zone code update, and that we will have a public meeting, maybe even April 27th. I don't know. We haven't scheduled it, but it is going to be very soon. We could have this proposal in that review, but I can't guarantee that we can give you a final decision by that 26. If 27 is such a hard date, then I don't know that we can continue communicating. You can open that date, give us a little bit of wiggle room, then we probably can continue discussing this.
What does a full rezoning?
Well, you know what a zoning code is, right?
Yeah, so what is?
Signs, driveways, all of that, everything is being updated,
Use.
rewritten, land use, zoning map, sign regulations, procedures for site plan review, for ZBA, all of that is being reviewed and updated. It's a big job.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm very proud of it.
So, I,
We're almost at the end and I don't want to hiccup. I want us to be able to take your request very seriously and give it serious consideration. But you're giving us a crunch when we're like right on the outside of your crunch time, and I don't know if we have to do that.
there's no unneeded pressure, my understanding was this was an opportunity.
It is a great opportunity,
For everybody.
but we need to, we're hearing it for the first time,
Yeah,
so
So I apologize for that.
no apology needed. Just give us the time that we're asking.
So I'd like to understand a little bit more of how that would impact this property for the full rezone change.
It is not that's not necessarily the most relevant question. We have to make sure that we consider all properties at the same time that we're looking at the land use. We're doing a whole, we've looked at all of our zoning map and we've changed some of the zoning districts. We're giving them new names, new boundaries. It's all getting a hard review. And we want everybody who's come here tonight, we want to invite them all to the public meeting to take a hard look at what we are recommending as an update. Okay? Your property has not been, I don't think it's been changed because it was a PDR, Matt, help me out here. It's zoned, you're right. Oh my God, I'm going back to the very beginning.
You're going back in time, Jane.
I
We
am
don't wanna hear that. That one didn't get through. We are
No,
I
it's-
zone.
You're right.
So, yeah.
My God, my bad. So sorry.
I think that's PTSD.
Right, nevertheless, it is, I don't think we touched it, other than maybe the railroad line or something.
No,
Anyway.
not really. The only problem I have, quite simply, and I've sat through all of your presentations on the planning board, ZBA, et cetera, because I have to be liaison to those committees as well, so I'm familiar with it. I'm familiar with what you're asking for. I'm also familiar with all the history of what we're doing and working with other developers and what they're trying to do in our community. And we have actually put development off in certain areas, what they've requested, because we haven't been able to produce a zone change, because we in fact are in the middle of this zone changing piece, which I'm a part of as well. So I understand what Jane's talking about. And Jane's the leader of our committee. But the point being, quite simply, is that I have others, and I respect them just as I respect you, but if I give you the go-ahead to do it, I have to then go and readjust what's going on with them immediately. And we're really trying to do this in a comprehensive means so that we don't do something ad hoc, piece by piece, and just, how should I put it? Let our village just be destroyed because everyone's got a crisis. You understand what I'm talking about? I know you do.
I didn't know you were working on that. You didn't know we had the wrap.
Right, so we do in fact need,
communicate more.
yeah, we're asking for time for us to be able to even consider it at this point, because at this point, I would not move anything forward. And I'm gonna say that to you. And it's nothing that what you're putting to me, it's just that what we have decided to do as a village with our codes and redoing our codes, because the other part is we need a very important piece to redoing those codes. And that piece happens to be the involvement of the public. And we know we need to get there in order to do that. And so, and I do understand what you're doing, and it's not crazy in a lot of ways, but the other part is you also know that what we're trying to do is not crazy also, and I don't find that negative. It's just that we're all going in the same direction to handle this, but we're at different speeds because of the way that we have to approach it. Because as we decided to redo our codes, and it's very necessary for us to do that, because our codes are a little bit old and we need to move forward. And yes, we do work in conjunction with a comprehensive plan, talk about that. I also worked on that plan as well. So I understand exactly where we are. The other piece with this is we do know that we just need time down the road in order to be able to look at this. And also for our public to look at it and tell us what they think about what we're doing as far as redoing the codes also. Because without that piece, I cannot move forward.
So is the code contemplating changing the R1 district?
We can,
Yes,
for sure.
So currently the DEC has the zoning and the cleanup for the R1 zoning.
that could change.
Or it could not.
Right.
Because you have told us that the advantage is for you to save some money. So what happens to us and what that means is that we will not get the cleanup. That's how you're gonna save your money for that site.
No, that's not what he's saying at all.
Out of proportion.
That's true. So I had something to say. First of all, it's unfair to accuse them of not moving forward, spending money during a time when there's a lawsuit going on. Because why would an investor put money into something that they might not be able to follow through with? So that's a bad accusation. If they change the zone to O or leave it R, they are going to continue cleaning up that property. The difference is how that property is going to appear at the end of the day. If you want to see how that property is going to appear at the end of the day, I suggest that you drive down under the bridge at Limestone Plaza and check out Fred Astaire Dance Studio that cut down every single tree on their property and took it away. Go look at that landscape and you will see what they're talking about. You're going to see an empty field of grass growing, perhaps, and you don't even have to mow your grass, it's in the back. And that's what you're going to see, not one tree for any neighbor up there. So you think about that and you go look around this village. And the only thing I do agree with what you're thinking about doing, I appreciate your coming to the village to at least give us some options to think about how we want that to look. You're going to go forward with this project no matter what we say or what we do. That's my understanding. And I also appreciate the fact that you don't want the village to take ownership of that, because I personally do not want that for the village residents. So that's what I have to say. I think we're done with the discussion unless anybody else has anything positive to say. Not accusations.
No
I
accusations.
was asking questions that are important. It's important that we understand that we don't have information directly from DEC about several things that.
You seem to have a lot of information from DEC by knowing that they got an extension when they said they didn't know yet.
I do. This whole
Okay,
thing is
that
about
is
tonight's
great. Thank you.
discussion.
We have nothing to hide.
Excuse me.
I understand you have nothing to hide. I'm done with the discussion. Does anybody have anything else to say?
No,
Yes, I do. When this came to us as an agenda item, I had not been looking at this. So in here, I have the ZBA minutes, the planning board minutes, the documentation from DEC. I was talking to DEC, Michael Belvig. I have exchanged information with him, and there is a discrepancy between what Michael Belvig of DEC says and what we are hearing in terms of what it actually looks like. There is no pressure ever from DEC on making a zone change, for one. And what the actual consideration is for cleanup, we've heard a couple different things here tonight, that there is going, all the trees are gonna be taken down. The old cleanup is more rigorous than the R1 cleanup. Could be. It requires going back to all the original data from this project and reevaluating it in light of the ecological considerations, whether there's a structure on it and whether it's, I don't have it. So anyway, there are questions that have to be answered. And I would like information from DEC for all of us to consider what the difference between an assertion in these documents that I've reviewed all weekend or a portion of the weekend, between what we're hearing and what I've read in our minutes and what we need to consider, what we need to verify in writing about what DEC says. So for us, we cannot accept on face value what a developer is saying to us. We need to verify that, especially with a site that has already been in extensive lawsuits, and we do not want to have any more lawsuits. We need to protect the village from that. So I have notes, and if the board needs to have a conversation outside of our meetings, that would be fine. I would entertain that conversation, and I'm going to be seeking additional information from DEC as well.
I have one more comment, and then I think we need to move on. What I was conveying to you is a timing issue.
Yeah.
Not a decision issue.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, and based on what the mayor said and the other comments that you heard from us tonight, we appreciate a little more time to take this into consideration. Yeah, and also in light of what we're doing on our end with the full zoning code. That's all.
I respect and appreciate what the village is taking on. I know it's not a small feat.
Right.
You know, in conjunction with a 23-count plan, I'm sure you're finding.
Yes.
I'll certainly reach out. I was gonna close, but I'll reach out to the DEC, see what latitude they'll extend to us, knowing that the village is working diligently to, look at a long-term plan for the community. And if my hope is they'll offer some flexibility, and we have flexibility to work together to come up with the best solution.
That would be good. Yep.
Jane, I appreciate what you said. But in the last meeting, maybe it wasn't in the minutes, but the last meeting, I brought up the exact same thing. That we are telling people that we are in the process of changing all the zones, so we're holding them up. I got told I was wrong.
The other thing I noticed,
We're not holding them, I mean,
if we never came here, if we never made an application, we'd just be moving down the road on.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
right,
right.
you would know no different, you
That's
would know no
right.
different.
that's why we're not holding you up.
Yeah, we're
Because
just-
these are
we're-
still choices that are being made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the spirit, and I hate to say, like, I don't wanna shoot myself in my own foot, but this is the spirit of like, maybe this is a good thing for the village.
Yeah.
And boy, would it look bad if all of a sudden we're working out there and we have a Fred Astaire situation, like that clearly.
Poor Fred.
Go take a look. It's horrible down.
So-
Yeah, take care of that, will you?
I don't want that. I think this whole program could be a happy ending for
Could be-
everyone.
It could work out, but the timing of things is a little off.
I'll find out
Okay.
what we can
That
do,
would
and
be
I'll
good.
certainly encourage the DC to communicate. It sounds like you're already communicating directly, so if there's a way to.
Well, one of us.
Yeah, it's to give you some kind of written understanding of what they're contemplating and what the go left, go right. Here's the difference between each direction, and give the village and the public an opportunity to
Yeah.
decide which is in the best interest.
We thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
All right, thanks for your
The least I
time.
can do, we're 7 years
Right.
of
We've been there too, you know.
My daughter's in kindergarten. My wife was delivering the application.
For clarity's sake, we haven't been the one in the program. The current owner is the one that's in the program.
Yeah, we've just been
We're
fighting a
stepping in.
lawsuit. Yeah, we're now through the lawsuit, and now we're
They've
anxious.
been the one in the program. It hasn't been us.
I don't know anything about your lawsuit. I know only about the one that's affected the village. And from what I understand.
That is a lawsuit.
I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Cost the village taxpayers thousands of dollars.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
And
Thank you.
there's an ownership change that's being requested as well?
No, we're not involved in the ownership of any of this.
Yeah, we're just here for a zoning application.
Who owns the property and who's developing the property is all up to the people that are involved in that section. That doesn't involve the village board.
I appreciate everyone's time, especially public and the trustees. It's been a long one and, you know,
Well, we appreciate the fact that there's progress being made on this site that needs to be continued to be cleaned up, and we look forward to.
yeah, that's the goal.
Future
Wanna
development.
get it up.
Definitely, that is a benefit to everybody in this village. Thank you. If anybody hasn't signed in, there's a sheet in the back of the room that you can sign your names to before you leave, please. No, we're gonna wait till we hear, you're gonna get back to us with some information. You get
Yeah,
back to me
yeah,
with some
we see-
information.
And with the spirit of, you know, aligning with the.
Yeah.
With the rezoning of the village and
perfect.
we'll call it a comp plan, but yeah, we'll communicate. Thanks.
Yep,
Everybody.
thank you.
Have a great night.
Good.
Is this an public hearing?
No,
No, we're not into that one. We're into something else.
we had a pub,
Question?
okay,
I'm very confused. If a zone change is being requested, why is it coming to this board instead of the zoning board of appeals?
because the village board creates the zones or changes the zones, not the zoning board of appeals. The zoning board of appeals is when something is being utilized on a piece of property that is not currently zoned that way.
It's
So
an
they-
appeal board.
Oh,
It's
they're,
an appeal board only, not to set the zones, but just to.
To appeal, they're
address
looking for
the-
exceptions.
after all these years, I think I should have known that.
That's okay.
Don't worry
If,
about
if we,
Trust
if
me.
this board is going forward with a zone change, I believe that I will, correct me if I'm wrong, we would have to hold a public hearing
Yeah.
about that zone change. Then anybody in the whole village can come and talk to us about that. That's this public hearing for a particular zone change. So we were hearing the reasons why they were asking for a zone change tonight. We weren't addressing the fact that we were going to even address that. We're getting more information. That's how tonight ended, pretty much.
I think, but Casey said something about the ZBA, zoning board of appeals. So.
They
These
that
are
just-
signs.
Just referencing other things about the property is my understanding,
Right,
right?
yeah, they requested,
Yeah.
they requested variances.
Change these signs.
Okay. All right, number 7, set some public hearings. The first one that we would like to set is for Charter Spectrum or franchise agreement. For the next meeting, April 13th on or around 6 o'clock.
I'll second that motion.
Moved in second, any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
The second public hearing for, again, April 13th on or around 6 o'clock would be our public hearing on the tentative village budget for the years 2026 to 2027.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The third is to set a public hearing for April 13th for the tax cap override.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is to approve the amendment to resolution 2025-0428. This is in regards to the grant that we received, Bridge New York grant that we received for our Franklin Street Bridge. And the resolution had listed in one spot that had the village mayor instead of the village of Fayetteville. So it was just a language correction, I believe, one spot.
Yep, it's just like
That
the way down where the Village of Fayetteville Board of Trustees hereby agrees that the
the
Village
village
of Fayetteville shall be responsible for all costs.
instead of the
Last,
mayor.
the
So
original resolution said mayor.
You're lucky about this. But
so I'd
make
like
that
to
motion.
be able to sign this.
I'll move that, by the way, but
So
you're
New York
lucky.
State is asking us to redo the resolution excluding the mayor. So it's village.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And with that, there is some paperwork to sign from Ted and I for
Yeah,
this,
Ted, just so you know, they sent us a whole set of new agreements for Bridge New York grant. So we have to do all of them again, and which require your signature as much as the mayor's.
Okay. Next on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding to enter into an agreement with the town of Manlius, the village of Manlius, the village of Fayetteville, the village of Manoa, the town of Pompey, and the Kirkville Fire District to discuss and study the benefits and or cost savings of a consolidated fire district that would incorporate my understanding of the town of Manlius, not the town of Pompey, although they're listed in there, but I'm just telling you what I understand about it, and I don't know. Till I guess we get into the study. So this is initially a study to look at those efficiencies that might be created by consolidation of fire departments as opposed to each individual one of those entities that I just read having their own fire department. Well, this is an agreement that the village of Fayetteville, they would like the village, all these participants to sign to participate in this. I don't know if we're ready to do that just yet, or if you
I am, if
I
you're.
am.
okay.
Don't move.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Trustee updates. You want to start on your end?
I don't even know if I'm too tired to talk, actually.
Okay,
A lot's been going on. I just want to make one side comment. The mayor really did want his name off of that contract because it's really a 1.3 to $1.5 million contract. Just so you know, I mean, it's sort of interesting when you look at it. And I'm very happy that we actually move forward and look at the fire district and looking at that, because that is one of the things that could be very beneficial to not just our village, but our community as a whole to take a look at. And also, we'd like to look at it to see how we can control cost, et cetera, because fire service has become one of the most ongoing costs for every fire department in New York State and in the country. And the solutions to solve the problems associated with that, with staffing, et cetera, are major concerns everywhere. It's the kind of thing that I see when we go to NICOM. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing this. This is going to be a long-term process. This is not a turnaround in 4 weeks, if you know what I'm saying. This is going to be a process where we really take a good look and see whether things make sense for us to do it. And so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. I'll stop right there.
I just want to make everyone aware that with respect to our update to our zoning code, the zoning committee is scheduled to meet on the 31st, and we will be reviewing the full draft code. It's 95% complete. There's some issues, I think, or questions and stuff that we need to talk about as a committee. Then we'll get that to 100% complete, and then we will have a full public meeting, and we're anticipating that to happen towards the end of April. And you will all get notice of that meeting, and you'll get to see what the new code looks like and reads like. So stay tuned. Our full timeline is to have a public meeting towards the end of April. We will then need to go through, it's called New York State Environmental Quality Review. We'll have to go through that process. In addition to listening to comments from the public, that one version of that draft, whether it's the second draft or the third draft, I don't know how many we're gonna go through, will come to this board. And this board will make a decision regarding them. We're anticipating to have all of this completed, July, August, something like that. So we are just around the corner to having completed a year's worth of strong effort. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Dan?
Yeah, I'm not really feeling good about having all those meetings on one night. As far as the budget goes, I'm not saying that we should get the preliminary budget out, but I think that there's gonna be a lot of questions that we still have as trustees, maybe on the budget. And we did say tentatively that we might have a meeting on April 2nd or one of those dates along that. Is that feasible?
I was gonna, when I get to my turn, I was gonna set the budget meeting, yeah. Have one more meeting before then,
Workshop meeting.
workshop meeting.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't say for sure that we're going.
No,
It was
I
one
got,
of-
I
it was
just
one
thought
of
of
the
that, as we
tentative-
were talking, we talked about it earlier at our
Yeah.
budget workshop, but we didn't finalize the date or the time, so.
Well, we said at some point the second, but. I
Right,
mean,
I wanna make sure everybody's good with that date, I'm gonna ask if, when it gets, you may. Oh, that's good, we wanna do it now, let's do it now. What day is good for everybody for another, do you wanna get together one more time? Before he puts the fine, we have to have the budget.
There was questions that we had before we finished today, I thought. Not necessarily having Jim here, but. I certainly had some, I think got 2 or 3 things I gotta go over again.
Okay,
Oh, we're talking.
so we talked about April 2nd, I thought somebody said they had a conflict with April 2nd, and that might have been Jim, which he doesn't have to be here.
Well, he doesn't have to be here, right?
I'm asking about the trustees now, do you have a
I'm
conflict? or-
available April 2nd. We
Yeah,
talking
you can
about
have it during the
date in
day, I
addition
don't
to
care.
April 2nd?
During the day, night, whatever.
No, I would think just April 2nd,
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
you're fine.
But we've
I'm,
already committed.
we penciled in, we weren't 100% sure.
Yeah.
Did we have a time, Casey?
I
on
had
your
it on my
calendar?
calendar.
9 AM.
Yeah, I had it in my calendar.
I have
It
calendar,
was
I
in
don't
the
have.
calendar for 9 o'clock.
Time? Did you have a time?
Yeah, I
know.
I look more than.
It was 9 to 11.
Okay,
Yep.
no, that's a mess, and I don't have it,
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
that's all.
You know,
See, I like
question.
that, I have, that too.
Added on my calendar too that way, 9 to 11.
I don't.
April,
I don't
and that's
do
good
those.
for
You don't
everybody.
care about me, but that's okay.
There
You're okay, Jane?
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so there will be a budget meeting, workshop meeting on April 2nd, from 9 to 11 AM. That is that, for sure.
Yeah, that'll save us a little.
If you
time.
have questions, though, you're welcome to get them to me or Karen, and we can get.
Yeah, I got
those too.
I've got it.
All good. Anything else?
No, I'm gonna give you the questions or Karen,
Okay.
then we'll go. We need to bring them up at that meeting, nice.
That's it. And we can answer something for you too.
I know. Oh. I'll give it to you.
All right, Casey?
Matilda Jocelyn Gage's 200th birthday was this weekend, and there were a lot of activities, and there are a lot of activities this week. I went to, on Friday night, I went to hear an artist in residence, Vanessa Johnson, who is a storyteller and fabricaholic. She has a beautiful display of, she makes fabric to talk about a different person. So each assemblage of fabric relates to a woman in history and her story in regards to voting. So there are 14 of these decorating the Gage Center, and it's a really interesting display with the biographies there. Plus, they spruced up the house and it's bright and cheery, and they have open house hours during the week. But tomorrow, they will have a special presentation at 5 o'clock where students from Lemoyne College have written a play about Matilda, and they'll be performing it. And the third little thing I'd like to say is that they were looking to try to find a tease, somebody make a tea for them, for Matilda. And no one wanted to, but then someone came forward and said, by the way, would you be interested in a tea that I have for Matilda? So it's a floral tea, and the person researched all the various things that would have been in Matilda's garden. And it's sold there as a little bit of a fundraiser, but it definitely is a charming little gift. I already gave it as a gift. So anyway, I invite you to
try
go there. I
Did you
haven't
try
tried
it?
it
I
yet.
wonder what.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. It's got a lot of flour in it. So, but it's very cute idea. And I think that I'm just gonna hold for that tonight.
Okay. Anybody in the audience have anything? I didn't talk to the board yet about your situation, but we will go look at it. I'll give them the information. I did meet with Patrick about his parking issue down there.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get to them earlier to talk to him about it, but.
There were a couple of cars there. I finally found a couple.
And then, sorry.
There.
You mentioned the tree cutting along the creek.
Yeah.
And so my husband called DEC about that as soon as we saw them, and they came
and they said it was legal.
Right.
And so I know the police also talked to them, so there's a lot of activity this weekend about the tree cutting.
Yeah.
But it appears to be legit.
But it looks so barren and different
looks
now
very
than,
different.
than what it was or whatever.
Do you know
Yeah.
why they did it?
I think for aesthetics, they put in a very expensive fence and it's already got 2 dents in it from trees landing on it, so.
They did talk with, I know that they came and talked with Mike Jones about it. I know he went down there to talk to them about the situation. I do know that the DEC came along while he was there. The owner of the property next door to, or maybe not next door, but the Campolino guy, a couple up or whatever.
Cause I think they were putting.
He was involved. There were a lot of people involved. Tyler was probably involved. So there were a lot of people involved in
A
the
lot of it too.
process or whatever. So, but it just to show what a landscape difference it can make to have some trees as opposed to having no trees. That just happened like.
So I'll make the pitch for the trail along the other side. Wow.
Yeah,
You're good on that.
thank you. So I guess I just had that budget workshop that I forgot, that we didn't really finalize earlier, so I just wanted to make that, make sure we got that set, and I think we're good tonight.
Well done.
Good. Yeah, oh, yeah, sorry. Missed
Sorry,
that.
this is redundant, but I was just wondering, is it really a no left turn onto Genesee Street, when you're coming up that extension from Brooklyn?
So,
Probably already talked about.
no, we haven't talked about it, so just to, again, maybe we should just talk about the bridge being closed down here for like 2 seconds or whatever. So, when you're coming east on Genesee Street, it shows a hard left that you can't make. It doesn't show the small left. So I've seen people do it. I don't know whether it's legal or what that intention was for that particular sign. But I don't have an answer for you, to tell you the truth.
No left turn at the stop sign of that little street, I think it's Brooklyn, onto Genesee Street. It says no left turn onto Genesee. But people drive past that sign to get up to the stop line.
Oh, right. No, I know. And then they turn left, but
Yes.
that's gonna be the detour now for Brooklyn Drive. So I'm assuming they're gonna be able to turn left or
Are you
right.
guys talking?
Yeah, I think they got it.
So,
Yeah.
So
if
you,
if you get stuck behind someone trying to turn left,
You're there for what?
you're
Yeah,
there.
it's hard to enforce, but they're not supposed to be turning there.
Where are they?
I know what you're talking
a
about.
little, if you're going down Genesee Street and you can take that little spur that goes down to Limestone Plaza. If you're coming up from Limestone Plaza, there is a sign that says no left turn on the East Genesee Street.
We gotta
Sorry.
get that sign onto there.
You have to take it out.
No,
Well,
no,
Oh, you,
no.
then how
Don't
to get to
recommend
Genesee
turning
Street?
there just for the reason he said, because it is very difficult to turn left there.
How do you get to Genesee Street?
You turn
It's a
right.
right only.
From
It
Brooklyn?
always has been.
From Brooklyn, I know.
well, you can go down to the light in front of Freedom of Expresso and make that turn onto
I didn't-
Genesee
I
Street and
didn't-
come up the hill.
But it's always been because you can't see the cars coming down the hill. It's.
Right
long.
now, that is
There's
the
too much
detour route,
traffic.
though. If you're coming Brooklyn Drive towards
can-
Genesee Street,
Fine.
you just have to go up
Yeah.
there and then.
Nobody pays attention.
I understand.
No,
There's-
there's
there's
detour
issues.
signs.
The detour signs are not what we had hoped.
But
would
if
be.
the no left turn was in front of you across the street,
It's like a shuffle.
where you can see it as you're waiting for traffic.
There used to be, I don't know what happened to it.
Okay,
Gotta go.
well, okay, we'll ask the state. We asked the state,
And then turn left.
it's New York State. We asked during the bridge closure. Everybody typically goes down through Limestone Plaza to get onto High Bridge Street. Not everybody, but a lot of people do because we have a no left turn at High Bridge. It was asked of New York State to cover up that no left turn during the 4 months that the bridge is going to be closed, because that's gonna make it difficult for people to go that way. And they're gonna have to go to Burdick Street, which is a congested intersection already. I've been telling everybody that I know to go to Mott and then kind of cut in because you'll have a better chance. No, I know, but it's New York State that will refuse to cover up that no left turn sign just for the construction period. So, you know,
Talking about that one.
yeah.
May I speak of that?
Yeah.
Actually, I've talked to a number of the shop owners down in that area.
I don't see.
And what you're talking about, we have, the only way I can put this candidly is we have battled with New York State DOT and the county very strongly in order to provide as much access for people. And they haven't been happy with us and we're not happy with them. To really put it finally, okay? And so that's what we're trying to do. And there's a number of other things that they've done or wanted to do that they basically have conceded to us, but it's not so simple. Because New York State DOT reigns supreme on that particular street. We can't change what's going on. They have control of it. So we've been working with them.
Right.
And it's not easy. And I hope you understand, most of the shop owners I've talked to, they understand that we're fighting for them, we're trying to work for them, so they have access. But this still is difficult no matter what you do, because we do have the construction going on. It's going to happen.
Those will take them down.
And it's just never easy. And I was actually waiting to see two things. Number one, what they actually put up for the signage, even though they gave us copies of what everything was gonna go up. Where it was actually going to end up was a question. And number two, once the construction crew gets on site, what do they really do? That's another piece that is a wild card for us at this moment. We know what they've said they're going to do, but we don't know 100% if that will be what they do.
Okay. All right, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, sorry.
No.
No, I'm gonna have to go look at it and then we'll talk about
A
it.
second.
On favor?
Aye. So
Okay.